Okay, let's start our modeling the markets in R video. First thing we're going to do is create a directory in our C drive called mar_Arima Garch. We're then going to copy in the zip file that you've downloaded, which is your product. So we'll do this, and we will unzip it right here. All right, so we're all set, and we've unzipped it. So now, the first thing, let's assume you have not. All right, okay. Now the first thing is, let's assume you don't know R and you're just learning R. We're going to have to install R and something called RStudio. Let's go to our book, and I'll show you again in case you didn't notice it. Is R for Traders. There's a PDF here, which is a book on learning R for trading. So we're going to look at chapter 1 here, but that contains information on how to install R and RStudio. So it tells you where to go look for the copy of R to download and how to install it. It goes through the instructions, and then it tells you where to find RStudio and install it. So read chapter 1 of this, and you'll be able to install R and RStudio. And in terms of using RStudio, it gives you some instructions on how to basically run a script and load a script in RStudio. Okay, so that's where we are right now. So we're going to end up, assuming that you've done that and you've read that section and you've installed R, we're going to load RStudio on our machine. Okay, so now we have RStudio installed, and we're going to run it. Okay. All right, so our next step here is going to be to load the RStudio. Let's assume we've already installed it. We've read the chapter and we've already installed it. Okay. Now our next step is going to be to install our product. The way we're going to do that is we're going to go to Tools. Actually, before we do that, we actually have to load libraries that are dependent. Before we can load our modeling software, we have to actually load libraries that are dependent. These libraries are actually what's called open source. They're free libraries for very powerful analysis. Now, they're not always easy to use, and they're not always well documented. But you don't have to worry about that because we've written very robust software for using these modeling methods with financial data from very popular programs, including TradeStation and CSI data. Right, so our first step is going to be to open file. We're going to go and find that directory. And the first thing we're going to do is load the dependent libraries. Now, loading all the libraries that are dependent is not an easy process, but it is relatively easy because we've created a script to do this, which is called install dependencies. Install dependencies came when we unzipped the product that you downloaded. So you just need to load this file, and then we're going to run it. In R, the way you run, you're going to right-click, hit select all, and run. And that's all there is. The libraries have already been installed, so you're not going to see much here. If the libraries weren't installed, this process could take 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, now once all the libraries are installed, our next step is to install the actual package. This is where we have to go to Tools, Install Packages. Now, there's two ways to get packages in R. One is the CRAN library. This is where all the open source stuff is. And one is from your hard disk. So we're going to select the zip and the tar GN option, which is where it is from the hard disk. And now we're going to go to Browse. Go to our directory again. And we're going to load. This is the version, this 1.1 version. This is going to also install sample data. So we're going to select this and press install. Now, again, this package has already been installed, so it installed very quickly. If it wasn't, this would have taken a while.